News.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing.
Producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy Bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful Bill. But does size really matter?
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more
CBS News.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing more than your financial status. Look your problem.
producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy Bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful Bill. But does size really matter?
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more people are finding their dolls' holes stretched wide open and reeking of shame.
If you thought Bigfoot was bad, wait till you meet his gooey cousin. A kumsquatch was just spotted in Dongwood National Forest.
Did you know IKEA has released a home glory hole kit called the Fuke Hole? It includes pre-drilled panels, mounting brackets, and a stain-proof finish. We begin with breaking news out of Massachusetts, where residents are reeling from what scientists are calling a cum-comet impact.
Officials are asking everyone to stay indoors and to wear N95 masks in case of cum aerolization.
We have breaking news. A laser-guided ship missile has just been launched from Rectomopolis, reportedly targeting Pennsylvania.
We're live from the scene where a laser-guided ship missile launched from Rectomopolis has struck Pennsylvania. This just in, a pubnadal blankets St. Louis in a thick bush this evening.
Downtown is completely covered in pubic hair, causing highways to close out of caution.
It's coming right for us. We need to get out of here now. Oh my God, it's taking the houses. A massive gizzard has buried Kamlambus in 2 feet of dong load. Locals blame the lack of preparation on Mayor Linda P. Slurp.
The city of Columbus is reeling today after an unprecedented event. What officials are calling a jizzard has left downtown streets.
Customs officials at Orbital Port 69 have seized over 420 stolen jork blades, many still warm and dripping. A magnitude 6.9 queefquake rattled Clamlip Valley this morning, releasing a torrent of pussy farts. The children's reading session of This Little Piggy Got Pegged has been cancelled, with parents saying the book is too anatomically detailed for kids.
Lawmakers remain deadlocked on the big beautiful bill, with some saying 10 billion more is needed for fleshlights and robo-cooters for dudes on dry spells.
Los Angeles, because she served her fried chicken instead of a quinoa salad.
Megan Mayonnaise went to the restaurant called The Last Supper, where she claims she was flabbergasted that they would serve her fried chicken when she in fact ordered a quinoa salad. Ms. Mayonnaise said waitress Sharkeisha Trinity knowingly gave her fried chicken, although Ms. Mayonnaise pleaded that she didn't want to eat any urban food. We have Ms. Mayonnaise along with her attorney, Roger Banger. Can you explain how you were feeling, Ms. Mayonnaise?
I told Sharkeisha Trinity 300 times, let me speak with your manager. And she just kept twerking, sticking her tongue out and laughing at me.
We have exclusive CCTV footage from the restaurant of Miss Mayonnaise and Sharkeisha's fried chicken confrontation.
Ms. Mayonnaise is suing Sharkeisha Trinity for everything she got, which is 3 deadbeat fathers and $100 in unpaid child support.
We need your $80,000 down payment now.
Can I do 6 child support checks, 1 EBT card, 10 Section 8 credits, and 2 Medicaid payments?
We take it all.
Welcome back to White News Network. I'm your host, Kimberly Kumquat. Today, the BFI released documents that claim no special files exist from that one famous island. Wink, wink. The BFI director said, quote unquote, although you've seen plenty of known people at that island, no American people, you were just seeing shit. The BFI office also released perfectly edited 24-hour surveillance footage of that jail cell where the main guy in charge was being held. At this point, these guys are playing in our face. Most of you are too blind to see it.
Welcome back, folks.
Yo, what's up? How my mic sound? We good? All right. Man, let's do some news. Yo, what up, Perfect Square? You the first up there. I finally started close to my target time. I'll be trying to go on 11 Eastern Standard Time for like the last 2 weeks, and still I wasn't able to even get remotely close. So this is close to my target time. What up with you, man? All right, man. Look, let's just get started. Do some news. I actually got a couple real good segments lined up. We wait for people to line up in here a little bit later. Now let's start off with some lefties losing it. Let's start off with that. My volume up. Yeah, it is. Let's go.
Losing it, and the Democrats are in all sorts of trouble. Their brand is in the toilet and circling the drain, and things are about to get worse with a new congressional map in Texas being voted on. And that has Democrat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett losing it. She may even lose her seat. She's certainly lost all sense of decorum. Listen to how she speaks about President Donald Trump here.
Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes, he is. But in a functioning democracy, he still would not be able to get away with this.
After her foul-mouthed, ghetto-like tirade against the US president, Jasmine went on the attack, this time with the Supreme Court, making all sorts of wild claims.
But most importantly, the courts, especially the Supreme Court, is complicit. And so I think one of the places that we have to start is
Whoa, look at that jelly roll down there. Look at that jelly roll in the black. Ooh, roly poly. Yo, if she loses her seat because of this redistricting, her political career is over because they won't have any use for her anymore, the Democratic Party. They sent her out here to do the clown show. Let's see how this shit plays out for her. But she got all that money. She needs to hire herself a personal trainer with them jelly rolls.
We are absolutely, they are the highest court in the lands, and they have no ethics guardrails. Now you go down to the lower courts and they do. How much sense does that make? When we know that they're taking money, we have the paper trail, and they refuse to put guardrails on themselves. So it's time for us to do it for them.
That all sounds rather insurrection-y to me. She doesn't respect the rulings of the Supreme Court. She just accused them of taking bribes. And here she is threatening to beat down Republicans.
They expect Democrats to kind of be the nice guys that we are. They expect us to take the punch and say thank you. Well, I am here to tell you, not only are we going to punch back, but we about to beat you down.
No one thinks Democrats are the nice guys, Jasmine. And did you see the others clapping there like deranged seals? And talking about deranged, here is Democrat Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Yo, what up, Bourbon Reed? I see you, Playboy. It says she gonna lose her seat. She gonna full big bag. Yeah. They telling her to ratchet it up, but I think Trump pulled the ace in the hole with this redistricting. You know, she's running against a Republican down there, a black man. With this redistricting, her address isn't even in the district. The address where she lives isn't even in the district anymore. So we'll see how this plays out. But this may circumvent her with the seat completely, or at least if there is an election, she's not going to be in a heavily populated Democrat district. So she could very well possibly lose her seat. Which I think is a masterstroke. Perfect Square says, lock everybody else up by Jasmine and let Jasmine Crockett walk. We need her. See, I'm of that opinion also. Like, as much as she's a goofy and everything, her being the face of the part of at least a section of the party, it being so distasteful, plays out well for, aside from just the midterms, just leading up to the election in general. Like I said, the crazier they look, the easier it is for our side to look sane, which we are, because it's all based on common sense. Oh, salute, Lord of Brooklyn. Nameless in the building. Is that you? Yes, it is. To the chat and the instructor on the panel. Oh, what's up, Playboy? He said, I can't body shame Crockett. Yo, she should have had her blazer closed on that one. I'm going to be honest. Crockett got kind of a cute face, but she's definitely a big back. And that roll ain't, that jelly roll ain't do her no favors. Let's see. So lastly, Jamie Eater vibes. Oh, yeah, exactly. We already ran through our little theory on her. She went to, we think she's like she went to like some of these good predominantly white schools because, you know, it was so expensive. So unless it was an all girls school, we know how that plays out. Irvin Reed said, if left out, will she be a target of Trump's investigations? She already is on the docket for a few things. The DOJ's coming down on everybody. It's a sight to behold, but it's like Rasmussen said. Our guy Mark over at Rasmussen said, according to the polling numbers, the general American public at large, man, they want to see somebody go to jail. They don't want to just see all these empty investigations. Yeah, exactly. She probably dated white men at some point. Even all the black chicks who be screaming the loudest about the racism be the ones who actually be dating the white boys. I went to these schools. I've seen it firsthand. I know what I'm talking about.
Lying, just lying.
You know, it keeps getting worse. Today, Donald Trump and the White House announced they're going to spend $200 million to build a large, fancy White House ballroom. This is what Doge was all about, folks. Cutting things, taking things away from you, and not giving it to some place.
Trump's spending his own money on that.
Place that needed it, giving it to the big shots who run the show, Donald Trump at the top of the list. Maybe he can park his new plane in the big ballroom. It's probably big enough.
Now, Chuck knew he was lying there. He knew. He's not stupid, but he knows he can get away with it. And so he felt rather comfortable fronting the media to repeat those same lies, suggesting taxpayers were footing the bill for this planned ballroom. Watch this clip, followed by a quick fact check from Caroline Levitt.
Here's even something more confounding. Some breaking news. Just now, the White House announced construction of a $200 million White House ballroom that will begin in September. A $200 million ballroom. Where'd this money come from? Did Congress appropriate it? I don't think so. It's almost like Doge was never about waste at all.
President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure.
Now, I've often argued that we need to bring back asylums, make asylums great again. And here is further proof that there is a shortage. This lefty is having a murderous meltdown because Donald Trump axed taxpayer-funded NPR and something called Tiny Desk. Cue tantrum.
I don't give a...
Wait, Tiny Desk got the axe too? That sucks. I actually do like Tiny Desk, but PBS got to go, especially because it's taxpayer-funded money. We're basically paying them to indoctrinate us and spread propaganda. It's a maybe the PBS could raise its own money and save Tiny Desk. Perfect Square said, "Did you hear about the labor statistics being at over 90% inaccurate?" Yeah, that's why he fired the and of course it was a chick over there in charge of everything. I'll do a segment on that. Yeah, he recently fired her. And actually those the majority of that happened under the Biden administration as well. That's why they kept revising, and they would initially report these really good numbers, and I was in the job market then. I knew that was crap. Why is my thing frozen? There we go. Square said, "Let the inflation rate rise," and we got action on reducing the Fed rate. Well, see, that's the thing with inflation. That's the thing with Powell not lowering the rates. We were saying that before. Trump's performing so well with the economy, and Powell is politicized. You know, the Fed is not supposed to be politicized, and they were hoping with the tariffs that they were going to have a spike in prices, consumer prices, as well as other goods, and that they'd be able to run on the midterms and make a case for Trump tanking the economy. It's actually been the opposite. So every other economic indicator is showing that the rate should be dropped, and Powell's still refusing not to do that. So I've surmised, and a couple of other people have surmised, pundits and financial people, etc., Kudlow, etc. Powell's being political, and basically he's trying to squeeze Trump's economy, and they're hoping that if they can hold on long enough, there actually will be some type of increase, spike in prices and inflation. But inflation's been moving along pretty steadily as per each quarterly report. I think Powell's got maybe another 11 months in the office. And I know they were trying to get him to step down. I don't know what the deal is, what's going on with that. But if worse comes to worse, he'll be out of there in like 11 months. And we might get we'll be able to get some decent action, because it's ridiculous that the rates have been up this long. They were still through the roof when I was even still in the States. Like, No one can refinance a home. No one can buy a home. Like, who's going to do them at these rates? You can't even lend money out. Who's going to take out loans, even personal loans and everything? Like, it's too expensive to borrow money. Like, they're killing a whole sector of the economy. And a lot of that, those loans and having money readily available at low interest rates, that benefits working class primarily as well. Brooklyn says Jasmine Crockett is on a record lying about the motivation for becoming an attorney. Facts. The first story was that she was a victim of the racial attack. Right. Later, she admitted she simply chose law school. Her entire story is fabricated. She's a creation of Maxine Waters, and she's a carpetbagger. Maxine Waters sent her down to that district in Texas so that they could hold on to these seats in the House. But these false reports were holding up. Oh, yeah, the negotiation for reduction. Exactly. Quiet Storm, we in here. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Storm said his term ends May 2026. So, yeah, we got about 10 more months of this guy. 5. What's today? It's August. September, October, November, December. Yeah, about 9-10 more months of this guy. Yeah, she's a TMO civil rights activist. Facts. I mean, with everything that we've been doing down here with the citizen journalism and like the media analysis down here in this space, Black Manosphere proper, and general YouTubers in general, and the dismantling of the mainstream media, the Democrats don't have a leg to stand on. And since for so long they actually haven't had to have policy or make an argument to the American people, now that they have to, they don't know what to do. All they have is these theatrics, and we can see through them now. Like, they're in the wilderness for real.
Just kill him! You have to!
Now, let's check in on some activists, those keen enough to make signs and turn up to protests, claiming the president is a fascist and the real criminals are in the White House. You'd expect those folk to be really across the issues, have some in-depth knowledge.
What crimes have they committed?
Trump?
Yeah, the ones in the Oval Office. What crimes have those people committed?
You want to look it up on Wikipedia? There's like a list.
Well, you made the sign, so I'm asking you.
It's true. I'm at a protest, though.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything. I'm here for my community.
Okay, so you make a sign about people.
Wow, did you hear that? I'm at a protest, though. I don't need to know anything. There are a bunch of NPCs over there on the left, bro.
People being criminals, but you don't know what you made it for?
All right, so I make a sign supporting my community and the people in it. Yeah. And I'm not ashamed.
I think you should be ashamed of it. But here are some more protesters who have absolutely no idea what they're protesting, who they're protesting, or why, but they're there holding signs.
Do you think Charlie Kirk is a white supremacist? I don't know who that is. It's who you're protesting. Charlie who? Charlie Kirk. I don't know who Charlie Kirk is. He's the CEO of Turning Point USA. It's the whole reason for the protest.
Now, I've been accused of stereotyping folks with septum rings as lefties. Well, here is a septum-wearing lefty confirming that it's not a stereotype, it's just facts.
All leftists look the same. Yeah, babe, it's because we want you to know, okay? I put the septum ring on and I said, everybody is going to be able to identify me as a leftist. Yeah.
And here is another sad girl with a septum ring living up to the stereotype beautifully.
I'm definitely not proud to live in this country. Trump is a piece of The Republican Party is a piece of You know why Kamala gave me hope? It wasn't her, it was Tim Walz.
Yo, facts, Quiet Storm. The more this plays out, they're just turning into the party of weirdos. And that's what I'd be saying about black men pushing that Democratic liberal line. If you're not like an old boomer, then you're just a weirdo, bro.
he stands for.
Now, this next clip is rather adorable. Here you have a lefty mum, a Democrat, being trolled by her own son. This is love.
So I'm staying the night with my son, and he has a very...
Yo, Growth Talk with Kofa. What up, Playboy? How you, man? I see you over there working. I'll be cloud watching you, bro. I'll be cloud watching you. So I'll be seeing your stuff, man. What up with you, Playboy? And Growth in Theo's class too, man. We got the whole army up in here. Quiet Storm says, remember when them weirdos shaved their heads to support the 4B movement? Yeah, whatever happened with that? We got a couple of the clips you sent me tonight too, Quiet Storm, to go over. And by demand, we got a crypto section tonight.
sick sense of humor. He made a Trump bedroom for me. Notice Trump toilet paper, Trump mugshots, and he said, open the closet, a life-size freaking, I don't even believe it.
Superb. She may be a lefty, but obviously she's raised a sensible son. I think you should do that to any lefty family members you may have. If you invite them over, decorate the room accordingly. Now, President Trump was asked about the ad that's got everyone talking, American Eagle's Sydney Sweeney ads, and watch his reaction when he's told the actress is a registered Republican.
Sydney Sweeney, she's like a very hot actress right now.
She's a registered Republican?
Yes.
Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic.
I like how he put that condition on it. If she is a registered Republican, I'm not sure he's convinced. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, there is a cultural shift happening in the US. We're seeing a move away, even in these commercials that are so typically woke. The whole fat positivity thing seems to be forgotten, and we're getting back to objective standards of beauty.
It does sound like the pendulum finally might be swinging back with this tipping point. I think it all goes back to November and Trump coming back with a bang and, winning everything, including the popular vote, which tells you what the sentiment is publicly. Then I would put Colbert's cancellation and Rosie and Ellen and everybody leaving the country as one measure. And then this ad. And what will be very interesting is to see what happens to Sydney Sweeney's career from here. Now that she's been outed as a registered Republican, will Hollywood casting folk try to cancel her or not? And if they don't, and she continues to land roles or modeling gigs, and I think for sure we can say that the moment has arrived and all that woke stuff is thankfully in the past.
Now, American Eagle is certainly benefiting from this controversy. They're seeing their share price go up, a lot of interest in their products. Let's look at Dunkin' Donuts' latest ad. They're hoping for a similar outcome.
I didn't ask to be the king of summer. It just kind of happened. This tan, genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer, literally. I can't help it.
Maybe because it's a man, it hasn't caused as much controversy, but it's still caused quite a bit of a stir, and it's got that trigger word genetics in there.
So funny, and he's a young actor from a TV show, and so they're casting somebody and using that trigger word, which is what it is. It's interesting from a creative decision perspective. It's not that original, given the other agency just use that same word. But to the point that we're making about this continuum that we're on, it's interesting, and there's almost a divergence because you have the Bud Light fiasco, you have the Jaguar ad, which totally was panned just a week ago, and stock is falling, shares are falling, sales are falling, and then on this side, American Eagle is ascendant, not for maybe fundamental reasons, but certainly the market seems to be rewarding them in the past couple of weeks, and so other brands like Dunkin' Donuts are looking at those two and deciding to be on this side of the ledger and not along with Bud Light.
Who knows? Maybe they came up with that first. I mean, just because we've...
Well, this is actually a good sign because as mainstream advertising goes, so goes the rest of the country with regard to branding and everything else. mainstream advertising, it could actually be argued, has a bigger influence than mainstream media. So if mainstream advertising is going that way, while at the same time we're seeing the destruction of mainstream media and the rise and the growth of these conservative and red pill talking points coming up on this side, we're looking at a groundswell. And speaking of which, Saul sent me an article earlier this evening that it looks like that they may be scrapping Gayle King too. So these mainstream daytime and late night left leaning media and a lot of women and quiches who've been getting a limelight are slowly but surely getting the axe, which plays right in line with our agenda.
Looked at it second doesn't mean the creatives, they may have been first. Now let's get to the serious stuff. The Democrats, including senior Democrats like Elizabeth Warren, are getting behind Zoran Mamdani. They think the party needs to lurch further left.
Aggressive social. Is this what the party should look like?
Yes.
Democratic Party
You bet. The Democratic Party needs to stand up and be clear. We are the party that fights for affordability for working families. That means childcare. That means housing. It means healthcare. It means making.
You can't be that party if you're giving all those resources away to people who are not U.S. citizens. I want them to double down on this Marxist, socialist, communist vent that they're going. I'm crossing my fingers. All signs are looking like we did last night's by the numbers we did based on the current polling numbers and the data sets available. We did we looked at a forecast prediction of Harris versus Vance. And he wins the Electoral College with the electoral votes. And prior to that, we did another one, which was Vance versus Newsome. So if they play it this way, man, Vance will have two terms, and that'll be 12 years of MAGA policies that will completely reform this country. Perfect Square says media is the unofficial fourth branch of government. I completely agree, and that's why it's a problem that under the Biden administration that they were turned into a full-scale propaganda machine for one party. Irvin Reed said Gina Garoppolo fought Hollywood and won, and good for her to do so surrounded by beta bows. With downsizing in Hollywood, non-chicks are the new fad. Con chicks are the new fad. Yeah, I agree. Quiet Storm says, the media changes when you lose federal funding. Never bite the hand that feeds you. Everyone doubled down. That's really what it is. Everyone doubled down, and they thought that they were going to get another term of Democrats, Kamala in particular, and everyone underestimated the almighty power of YouTube and the strength of this is all post Kevin Samuels era, and it's evolved. It's evolved from the gender politics to politics in general, and an emerging of them. So it's a force to be reckoned with. Growth Talk says Dems getting cooked. They have no one in the queue to push. Facts. They're still scrambling, and we want to keep seeing them scrambling. Oh, Saul in the building. Salute my man in the chat. We in here. Let's see what we got. Irva says, I would like to see a Green Party by the numbers. The future parties are going to be Republicans and Green. I mean, well, I've made this argument repeatedly here that I can make a very cogent argument that the current presidency that we are under is a third party presidency. Trump is not a Republican. He's a populist president who took over the Republican Party. And during his campaign, he absorbed 2 third-party candidates into his campaign and amended his platform as such. And then once in power, he made them a part of it. He gave them key roles in his administration. So you have 2 third-party candidates who were absorbed, and they amended the platform that he was running on. Trump, in and of himself, is really a 90s type Democrat. So this is not a Republican Party, and it's not a Democrat Party that we're under right now. It's a hybrid, a hybrid third party, just with the Republican packaging. And that may be indicative of why we're seeing all these massive changes, because it's not the classic establishment Republican Party in power or the establishment Democrat Party. That's my argument, and I'm sticking to it. Quiet Storm said, it's a straight struggle bus for them. They burned their bridge, starting with Obama to Hillary to old Joe to disaster Kamala. Exactly. They slowly burnt the house down wing by wing with each administration. And Irva Reed is correct. YouTube is the last bastion of freedom of speech, even though on this platform we're constantly being censored and shadow banned and whatnot. I just think at this point we've reached critical mass.
Making this country work better for the working people who make this country work.
All right, last question.
I get a little excited about this. Okay. All right.
There you go. Pocahontas is all excited. Kosher, he's not a fringe dweller in the Democrats anymore, and in many ways, he's representative of the modern Democrats.
He is. Now, this socialist strain has long been present in the Democrat Party and in the left wing of politics everywhere. But what's interesting here is when it used to just be about, working class and using the collective as a way to redistribute wealth and all of that, he's got that. At least he's touting those policies, as does Elizabeth Warren. But then he's this mishmash of trans rights and intifada and racial justice and all that stuff rolled in together, which is different from what it used to be. But I think the problem is the root issue here is economic inequality is on the rise. Young people can't get a foothold in the economy with housing and jobs and all of that. So there's a lot of frustration, and there are 2 very high contrasting positions being presented by both sides. For the right, it's low taxes, no tax on tips, stopping illegal immigration, which competes in the job market, et cetera. And on the left, though, you've got this stuff about handing out free things and making the big, bad, evil, rich people pay.
His supporter base, certainly from what we've seen of the data, is affluent. He had more support amongst those affluent voters who you would think would be looking at his policy proposals and going, this isn't in our interest. But perhaps it is in their interest because they know how this game works.
And it's the virtue signaling. So the affluent people can afford the luxury belief because even with a bad economy, they're doing fine and they get to signal their virtue. He himself is one of those elites. He comes from...
Spot on. She hit it right on the head. Exactly. She hit it right on the head. It's virtue signaling, and all of these terrible policies will not affect them in the least. And that is part of the game. And it's the nonprofit industrial complex where they figure out a way to recycle the money and have the money flow from the government to the bottom back up to the top echelons of the society. And that's what Trump broke up with the USAID and whatnot and all these dark money pools.
A very rich background with both of his parents. So he's sort of a champagne socialist, as they say.
Oh, aren't they all? And let's hear from the Democrat Socialists of America. This is a member of that group, as well as a member of Mamdani's campaign. And he's explaining here about the policies they hope to implement.
Most importantly is we collaborated with the Zoran Mamdani campaign on his trans rights platform. And
this is the Democratic Party. this. And that goes back to my, I will restate my premise. If you are an American heterosexual black man, how have you aligned yourself with this? And if you're not some old ninja boomer, how have you aligned yourself with this? This is not a party for straight men. This is not. These are your homies.
What we explicitly wanted to do was use the power of New York City to provide free gender-affirming care, and I say free in case insurance companies decide to boot us off, free gender-affirming care, not just to people in New York City, but across the country. When Zoran first kind of approached DSA leadership about running, his pitch was, he said, I'm going to get socialists to vote for me, and I'm going to get Muslims to vote for me.
That's the Democratic Party. You guys have at it. It's all yours.
There you go. Free sex changes for everyone and an holy alliance.
Once again, free. If you are a heterosexual black male, when I always ask, how do we analyze policy? What's in it for me? So there is free sex changes. How does that benefit you as a heterosexual black male?
There between the socialists and Muslims. Kosher, most devout Muslims would be utterly horrified by the trans agenda, but they're still pushing ahead with this alliance. They seem to have a common enemy, but apart from that, I don't know what else they share.
So true. It's this coalition of the fringes. It's this mashup.
Exactly, a coalition of the fringes. Nameless says the idea seems to be justice by way of grievance based on redistribution according to identity. Facts. Upper middle class, upper class white female logic. Yo, spot on. Spot on. Leading up to the election and even post-election, we know the Democratic Party in terms of demographic is primarily, in majority, liberal white female college educated, followed thereafter by Keisha of every class demographic. Then, but primarily old boomer ninjas and Backdoria. He said, who were still wearing masks. Yo, yeah, subscribe to Kofa. Quiet Storm dropped this link in the chat. I had it on the screen for quite some time, and there's Nameless Protagonist as well. His link is in the chat, and it's his banner on the screen. Let's do a little bit of more of this, and then let's do our Stephen A. Smith segment, because Michelle Obama put on her latest edition of the podcast, when she was sitting there with two Backdorias and her brother, called out Stephen A. Smith. So we're going to listen to Stephen A. Smith's rebuttal on Hannity.
Again, of economic socialism with trans rights, with everything else. You're absolutely right. In Michigan, that group, the parental rights was a big issue, and they really got activated against the left, came out for Trump for the first time, actually, people who otherwise maybe didn't like Trump, but just because of this trans thing. These guys are ensconced in New York City, Mamdani, so they can afford to push those things. But you can't make this stuff up. Just looking at those guys, they're in their N95 masks, they all look that way.
Yes.
And it's like every pet issue.
Casting.
Your girl just made your argument, Quiet Storm, about the mask.
All from central casting pushing it, and now they're going to go from hotels housing massive amounts of illegal migrants to now hotels apparently housing gender-affirming care people, quote unquote.
And flying.
Whoa! So the move is, wow. They're going to go from housing migrants to housing trans. That's what they're going to do with the taxpayer money. Yeah, people want that.
People from all across the country, and the taxpayer will subsidize their sex change operations. And presumably, given the ideological point of view.
Once again, to black men voting Democrat, you signing up for your taxpayer dollars, funding sex changes for men?
View these people have that includes under 18s.
It does, and the tax base is going to keep leaving because the rich people that fund that tax base are just continuing to leave New York for other places. Unfortunately, wherever they go, they take those policies with them.
Exactly.
But in the short term, that's going to keep happening.
Now, let's hear from the former President Joe Biden, who was honored at the National.
No, we don't need to hear from Sleepy Joe. All right, let's do Stephen A. Smith, because I didn't even know Michelle Obama called him out, and I have a theory about that. I think that it's not an accident that she put Stephen A.'s name, pulled his name out of the hat, because Stephen has been very vocal about the Democrats being out of touch and needing to get their thing together ever since Trump won. So I think that's a dog whistle for him to get back on the plantation. Quiet Storm says, this is madness. What middle class, above middle class working man would proudly want to be associated with this group? I'll wait. Yo, my argument exactly. Yo, what up, Kwame? We in the building. We did a by the numbers segment last night. We're gonna do a crypto segment tonight. Yeah, the Michelle podcast. So let's load this one up. So this is Stephen A. Smith responding to the Michelle Obama statement on Hannity, and I want to see how he threads the needle with this. My theory is that she didn't randomly pick his name out of a hat. I think that's a dog whistle for him to get back on a plantation and keep shoveling slop for the Democrats.
Well, you may or may not have heard that Michelle Obama has a podcast. A couple of weeks ago, she had a former certain president on as a guest. Last week, our friend Stephen A. Smith somehow came up in a really weird, bizarre way during a conversation about reality TV. Take a look.
You know, if I listen to ESPN for an hour, it's like watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, it's the same drama and they're yelling at each other and they don't get along. You know, I mean, Stephen A. Smith, he's just like every other talk show.
I don't care what anybody says. Michelle Obama is so unlikable. She's shrill. And look who she's having this conversation with these backdoor
Real Housewife.
He would be,
right? It would be amazing.
So that's why I'm like, what's the difference? It's just, you know, it's just sociological drama.
Really, Michelle Obama isn't the only ghost of the Democrats' past to reemerge on the public scene recently. Former Vice President Kamala Harris announced her return to the spotlight last week with a book launch and an appearance on the very canceled Colbert. But some Democrats are not happy to see Kamala again. Multiple Democratic strategists telling Politico they would not want her campaigning for their candidates and say she should not run in 28. Here with his take, the star of First Take and the host of his own podcast and the host of every other show that he does, the one and only Stephen A. Smith. I took great offense at this. All right, so you and I will talk sports off air. Yeah. And we'll agree at times to disagree. Yeah. But when you look at an athlete, they have dedicated, whatever sport it happens to be, they have dedicated their entire lives to reach the pinnacle of success, to become a professional athlete or a top D1 college athlete. There's no comparison to these reality housewives show. I found it insulting.
Well, zero, but I didn't take offense to her comments. You know, she was comparing reality TV to sports TV from the standpoint of watching us go at one another. Well, first of all, like you said, there's no relation because these are some of the greatest athletes on the planet Earth that play professional sports. That's who we're talking about as opposed to reality TV stars that can barely act. That's number one. Number two, when you look at what she was talking about, you also have to take into consideration that she doesn't really pay much attention to sports. Evidently, she leaves that to her husband. And when she talked about First Take, she talked about us arguing with one another, hating on one another. We got a lot of love for one another on First Take. We get along just fine. We have a blast laughing and joking and having a ball and yelling at each other about sports. Sometimes we're monotone in our delivery, but we have a lot of fun on First Take. That's why we've been number one for 13 consecutive years and counting. That's number two. Number three, let me say this to the other people she
Just
rapped
don't
that
talk
she had
politics, and you're doing great.
Stop it. Let me say this. Let me say this last part to the other people that were on the table with her. You can say Stephen A. Smith is a lot of things and will be a lot of things. The one thing you can never say about me is that I'm going to be a housewife. There's no confusion there. Zero.
Here it is. Too much male testosterone on Hannity tonight. Here it is. Here come the comments. They're going to come flying in on X right now. You're on your own on that one. All right. You actually said something about Michelle Obama. You said a vote for Trump was a vote against you and a vote against women. Yeah. You took huge umbrage with that.
Yes, I did, and I still do. I took umbrage against that when she said it. I did the same with her husband when he spoke to young black men in Pittsburgh and basically alluded to misogyny if folks didn't vote for Kamala Harris. And I just thought that I was highly offended by that because for a long time, I think it's been a complete misnomer that black men don't revere black women. Where, mamas and grandmamas and sisters and aunts helped raise us and make us into the men that we strive to be and aspire to be. And we've always revered them. And we have no problem supporting a woman if we agree with them. Talking about politically, if Kamala Harris is somebody that most people thought could handle the job of being the president of the United States, she would have been the one to get 77+ million votes instead of Donald Trump. They want to bring up the fact that she only lost by 1.5.
Okay, Steven. See, I thought he was going. I haven't watched this clips. Quiet Storm sent this to me. I thought I freezed him at a terrible spot. We just gonna have to leave him there. But I thought he was going to backtrack. I thought he actually handled that. I think he actually handled that pretty well. And Saul may be right. Ouch, that was a shot at Obama. Storm says he called him a housewife. I'm hurting. No, I thought Stephen handled that one pretty well. That was a pretty good retort.
5%, but she lost every swing state. She lost the male vote. She lost a lot of the black vote and the Hispanic vote compared to what Biden had done 4 years earlier. So it was a legitimate, bona fide, straight up loss. And it's the first time a Republican had won the popular vote, I think, since 2004, if I remember correctly. So the bottom line is it speaks for itself. And in the end, if she was strong enough and it resonated strong enough with more people with that 107 days she had to campaign, she would have won the election. If she was strong enough, maybe she would have got past Iowa in 2020. If she was strong enough, maybe they would not have had to bypass a primary in order for her to be in that situation.
Okay, he doubling down. Man, I can't with Steven though, because I know he be solid one day and then he'll backpedal the next. But he's shooting it down the middle right now.
Where she was in a position to succeed, Joe Biden.
Do you want to say now tonight,
so what it
Hannity, you were right about President Trump? He's been a great president.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not willing to say that. Let me tell you why I'm not going to say it. Hold on. Let me tell you why I'm not going to say it. Are you going to interrupt me? Let me tell you why I'm not going to say it. Excuse me. I heard about the 10 trillion in investments for manufacturing, autos, and semiconductors.
Actually,
I heard those are pledges.
To 15 now.
All right, but those are pledges. Let's see it actually reach fruition. I saw the jobs report. 113,000 jobs was expected in July. Only got about 73. I heard about it. Excuse me, hold on. Is the royal Russia-Ukraine still going on that he said he was going to end? I'm sorry, Israeli-Hamas conflict. Is that over? I mean, is that a perfect record here, Sean? You need to stop that about him. He's got. By the way,
no president has ever gotten the commitments for pharmaceuticals, rare earths, for semiconductor chips, automobiles.
I want the commitments
here in America.
It's a lot of commitments that get made. It don't mean it reaches fruition. I hear the.
See, now here you go, and this is what I'm saying. Trump has accomplished more than any president probably in the last, I don't know, 9 decades. I mean, last maybe 5, 6, 7 presidential terms. Biden completely destroyed the country. So now the bar of measurement is he did all this amazing stuff. He's done better than everybody. But it didn't happen exactly like that. So a complete abysmal performance. But now that we're at high performance, now we're arguing nuance. And that's disingenuous. And that's when it's like you're insulting the audience's intelligence. And then that's like, okay, you're back to being a shill again. Like, argument for argument's sake is at some point not a form of intelligence.
I need to see it. Last thing, by the way,
you just can't, you know what you can't do?
Big beautiful
you can't
bill
say
is so
the
big
words.
and beautiful.
You were wrong.
Listen,
just
the
admit
big
it.
beautiful
You were
bill
wrong.
is so big and
You
beautiful.
were
Then
wrong.
why are all of these other storylines? Why are y'all focusing on all of this other
What
stuff instead of
storyline?
excuse me, Russian collusion? That's what we bringing up now. We bringing that up now. I mean, that's what we think about.
Do you know anything about? All right, tell me. All right, you're so smart. What is the Hillary Clinton bought and paid for Russian disinformation dossier? What is it? I'm going to test you if you want to go down this road. We'll test you.
I'm not going down the road. The Steele dossier speaks for itself. I heard what you said about Hillary Clinton. There's a lot of evidence against. I understand that. What I'm saying, I'm not questioning the information. I'm not questioning the legitimacy of the story.
And this is what I'm talking about again. I made the same argument about Charlemagne the other day. All these sacred cows have to go. All these celebrities and sports figures. Stephen A. Smith is a sports caster. From is a political journalist, as it were. He does opinion type pieces. It's more from the desk of the. He editorializes. That's the word I'm looking for. This era of black men who are actors and comedians, and they are not equipped and should not be in the public discourse as being, in terms of their political opinions, in the same arena with political pundits and whatnot. It does us a disservice because he looks like a fool right here. You can't make you can't make a series of intelligent arguments, and then when the conversation starts to shift to serious matters, you're ill-informed, or you're speaking disingenuous, or you want to move the goalposts, and now you're the Stephen A. Smith caricature. This is a serious conversation for serious people. And we need, for example, when Byron Donalds gets up and talks, granted he is a congressman, but nonetheless, and he does interviews with media or anything else like that, and that's why we like him. His stance on reparations notwithstanding, that he can argue the points for what they are, straight down the middle. He has an opinion, but he backs it up with publicly available information. It's a well-reasoned and a rational argument. You can follow his train of thought. He doesn't give back down. He doesn't give any inches. He's articulate, concise, and straight to the point. And that's the image that we want presented. When Stephen A. Smith is like this, like I said, it's more, it's clown show time. It's half minstrel type shit.
Saying, with all the good things that you say Trump is doing, you would think he'd be talking a lot more about that stuff. He doesn't seem to be talking about that very much.
Okay, he is. We haven't added up the minutes. We will, but he speaks to the media nearly every day.
Oh, I know that.
Joe Biden was incapable of doing that.
I know that too.
Well, there you go. That's your party.
I didn't deny that.
Okay, it's you say you're a Democrat. You're now part of the party of Mamdani, of Jasmine
I'm not.
Crockett.
Hold on.
You're the party of Kamala Harris. You're the party of Pocahontas, Grandpa Bernie, AOC, the Squad, the anti-Semitic members of the Squad.
You're going to throw your boy under the bus like that.
And that's what I'm saying. I know him and Hannity are friends, and it's actually good for his ratings to have Stephen on and but at some point during the conversation, Stephen ends up being comedy relief. Do you see what I'm saying? The ill-informed black man who, when backed into a corner with commonsensical arguments based on information that is publicly available, isn't intelligent enough to make the argument on its merits based on the information provided, and resorts to over talking and smiling and showing his teeth. It's a coon show.
You gonna throw your boy under the bus like that, Sean? You know good and well I wouldn't vote for Mamdani. I wouldn't vote for AOC. I don't like the way Jasmine Crockett is talking. I don't think that helps the Democratic
Party.
Party.
I have a last question.
I don't like that.
Question. Who are the leaders of your party right now? It's not Hakeem Jeffries and it's not Chuck Schumer. It's all those names I mentioned.
Sean, there is no leader for the Democratic Party. That's why they're in trouble.
See what I'm saying? And then at the end, say something commonsensical. It's enough of that. All the serious conversations are being had down there. Exactly, Saul. Minstrel. That freeze frame, yeah, that was by accident. I did him dirty like twice, right? I did him dirty like twice. Urban Reset, well reasoned in this day and age, I'd buy that for thou. Hell yeah. Speaking of which, let's do this. Cool. We're at the 1 hour mark. Good. Let me do, since Saul's in the chat anyway, let's do this quick Gayle King article, then we'll do the crypto segment, and then maybe one more segment and get up out of here. Saul sent me this, and I'll read this. Because we got another Keisha on her way out in the mainstream media, bro. One by one, man, we knocking them down. You guys see that here? Let me take this off the screen real quick, and I'll read this one. Says CBS staffers speculate on Gayle King's future as network bosses push editorial shift on struggling AM show. CBS Morning trails at a distant third behind its ABC and NBC rivals in ratings. The Oprah compatriot, Gayle King, who's been a key factor along with Oprah in destroying many a black man's career, ethnic image, and they've been at the forefront of false information and smears. So this could not have happened to a better person. Subtext: Gayle King calls Colbert cancellation by CBS a kick in the stomach, and she might be the next to get a kick in the stomach. I'm loving it. CBS staffers are speculating whether their longtime morning show star Gayle King will have a long future ahead of her as network bosses implement changes to her program. King, the liberal co-host of CBS Mornings, has struggled to give CBS a ratings lift despite having a roster of A-list pals like Oprah Winfrey and her mega salary ranging from $10 to $15 million per year, according to reports. Another overpaid Keisha, who can deliver the goods. She was primarily being paid up until recently, basically to destroy black men. That's what she's really getting paid for. During the month of July, CBS marquee morning program averaged 1.8 million total viewers, trailing behind ABC's Good Morning America and 2.6 million, and NBC's Today with 2.4 million. A lot of people like how she says off-the-wall things. She's so quirky. But also there's people that don't like it. One CBS staffer told Fox News Digital about how King's colleagues feel about her. Oh, surprise, surprise. No one can get along with the wig-wearing Keisha. Anytime you have a big name, they are going to be a target. Let's see. King is generally liked within the network and still has a lot of power in the morning when it comes to things she wants. She is insulated by her team and CBS Morning's executive producer, Shauna Thomas, a good bit. But so are co-hosts Nate Burleson and Tony DeCoupo. To an extent, the staffer said. Perhaps puncturing a hole in King's bubble is the editorial shift being pushed by CBS News' president and executive editor Tom Chabrowski and his number two, Wendy Fisher, the network's senior president of editorial. They're changing story selection and tweaking the show some, the CBS staffer said. I know Tom has been involved in the show heavily, though. He wants us to focus on stories inside of major cities and in the middle of the country, stories that affect real people and their take and that they're talking about at home. Lots of economic stories. You can see Tom's work in the show. They've added former Good Morning America meteorologist Rob Marciano, full-time tweaks, teases, and you even see more camera movement and dramatics similar to Good Morning America. They continued. I don't know that Shauna has pushed back on Tom, but I do know he has had his hand in tweaks on the show, especially recently. Let's see what else we got here. We don't care who joined. Is there anything more about her getting canned? The editorial changes I've seen feel more focused on growing the shows and stories that resonate better than making changes based on pressure from up top. That's cap, they said. He just got here in the spring, so he's just getting to a point now where he knows everyone and everything is changing things based on his vision, is the impression I get. All right, let's see. Is there anything else about sacking King? I don't care about this other guy. Okay, let's read this last part. People are talking about it because King is our biggest star, but also I don't think anyone cares that much, the staffer said. I think everyone just wants stability. So from that standpoint, people want her to stay. That sounds like double speak. She might be on her way up out of here. Oh, okay. Some people slid in the chat. What's up? Yo, what up, Derek Wilson? Hashim, what up, Playboy? All right, let me pull up this crypto section. We're an hour in. We got a little bit more time. All right, I see everybody filling up in here. Why don't you guys hold on to this for a second?
Tomorrow's weather happened yesterday, so we're experiencing reverse precipitation. Rain will unfall upward into the clouds starting at 3 p.m.
We're getting reports that local resident Mike Johnson has discovered he's been the same NPC for 3 years, repeating identical conversations with neighbors.
As you can see, we have heavy cat precipitation moving through the Midwest. Expect 3 to 4 inches of tabby cats with scattered Persian showers.
We're seeing a high-pressure system of existential dread moving in from the west, with scattered anxiety showers and a 70% chance of emotional breakdown by evening.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Mitchell. Wait, why are there 2 of us? I think we're experiencing a rendering error.
In tonight's game, gravity was temporarily disabled in the third quarter, resulting in all players floating near the ceiling for approximately 12.
Traffic is backed up on the aerial highway due to a 3-car collision at cloud level 7. We're seeing delays of up to 20 minutes for commuters trying to reach the stratosphere.
And that concludes tonight's completely AI-generated news broadcast. None of this was real, but you watched anyway. Back to your regularly scheduled reality.
All right, let's go. We're gonna do the crypto section, and I'm actually gonna follow up on the gentleman from yesterday. Let's talk about some Bitcoin. says we see Bitcoin as digital capital, says strategies Michael Saylor. And Michael Saylor doubled down even when Bitcoin was in a bull market. They doubled down and bought, and they've used that as a foundation. Like I said, they're viewing it as long-term capital. So I actually saw part of this interview. It was actually pretty good. And this is the same gentleman from yesterday. But I wanted to play this segment because it is back. It's how the big money's thinking about Bitcoin in general. But I will say this: all that aside, from all the brothers that I see invested in crypto in the space and in the real world, and everybody in the Oheen's clique and everything, you will see that his assessments pretty much coincide with the general consensus and sentiment amongst brothers. And like I said, I'll give that to the brothers. Brothers got onto crypto very early. We were very early adopters. Some of the best crypto traders and guys just doubling down, investing in altcoins and all sorts of altcoins and projects all across the board are brothers. Brothers are heavily invested in crypto. And when these bull runs and stuff, and especially everybody that's just holding, no matter what, they're setting it and forgetting it. I don't have any like hard numbers because no one's doing public reporting on their crypto holdings. But I will say this: if my gut indication of what I've seen over the last 5 years with regard to brothers' conversations around crypto, and that they're actually holding, when this next big run happens, I think that we're going to see a sizable percentage and spike in the number of black millionaires here in the United States. I think there's going to be a huge transference of wealth, and it's going to happen overnight, and it's going to be night and day. And I think a lot of people are going to be shocked about how many everyday average, and when I say everyday average, I'm talking about 55K to 85K currently earning black men are going to be very quickly become rich. That's my prediction. Oh, and Quiet Storm with $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. He said, just tipping the news anchor. Hashtag F all you hoes.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes. Off by a dot.
All right, let's get to it, man. Let's see what we talking about.
Largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, lower this morning. MicroStrategy is now known as simply a strategy, reported its best quarterly profit ever, well above the loss that analysts were expecting, reversing the year-ago loss. The company now holds more than 600,000 Bitcoins. Join us now, Michael Saylor, the company's executive chairman. 3% of all the Bitcoins that will ever be minted, 628,791 owned by Strategy, but who's counting?
Yeah, thanks for noticing. We see Bitcoin as digital capital. The business model of the company is to accumulate the digital capital and then
Did he just say that this guy owns 3% of all of the Bitcoin that will ever be minted? Jesus Christ.
issue digital credit like preferred stocks against that digital capital in order to strip the volatility and the risk off of the Bitcoin and provide yield to investors.
And the latest preferred stock offering, it was going to be $500 million, and why not do $2.5 billion? So 5 times as much because of demand.
You know, my first IPO was $48 million in 1998. This year we did 4 IPOs for a total of about the first was $500 million, $500 million, $1 billion, and this is the largest IPO of the year, $2.5 billion.
Like the Todd, do you have? Are they all orange now? Mostly.
We only wear orange ties.
You only wear orange ties because I went to DC and didn't think about it and wore an orange tie. Every single person thought I was like advertising Bitcoin, and on, you know, I had a picture that I put out, and on Twitter I'm supposedly a holder, and it's dangerous to do that unless you're Michael Saylor. I'll just say that.
The future is orange, Joe.
Unless it's Halloween, my wife's birthday. So these numbers were staggering me. It's very arcane, very hard to understand. Are you basically just a leveraged acquirer of Bitcoin, and that's what your company is?
Here's the way to think of it. Bitcoin is a digital commodity. It's about 50 volatility, 50 ARR, and you want to hold it forever, a 50-year duration asset.
Okay.
If you want amplified Bitcoin, MSTR, the equity is...
Hey, you guys get that? You want to just hold Bitcoin, trade your altcoins, hold on to as much Bitcoin as possible. Because remember, it's finite. There'll be less and less blocks to mine. That in turn, you already know, its value is going to go. It's the new gold. It's the first digital gold. So this is the smart money. This is the big money. Talking, and they playing with billies. They telling you we holding. So hold.
Amplified Bitcoin. People want 2x Bitcoin exposure. The options jockeys love this. The derivatives traders love this. If you want structured Bitcoin, that's Strike, STRK.
Yeah, fact. Exactly. This is institutional money, Quiet Storm. He said hold for 21 years. That's wild. You know, a guy like me is going to hold up until 10 years before I think I'm going to die, and cash out half and live mad, and then leave the rest to my brother or something like that. But that's how you're supposed to be thinking when it comes to your crypto.
We give you the 80% of the upside, and we give you 20% in a structured dividend, and then we give you principal protection. That's for people that would prefer to invest in hedge funds or S&P indexes.
But you're using the proceeds to buy more Bitcoin. You just keep adding on to how much Bitcoin you have. And your average price is what, 73,000?
Yeah, we'll sell a credit instrument like Strike, and we'll buy Bitcoin. So we're taking the volatility and the duration and the upside for our equity investors, and we're giving a structured instrument to the credit investors. Now, Stretch, which is our latest IPO, and I think the most exciting product, it's like treasury Bitcoin. It's for someone that wants monthly dividend, they want principal protection, they want the lowest volatility, they want a high yield savings account, and it kind of competes with money markets or with treasuries. And so what the company has done is we're taking this pure digital capital asset that's got a lot of performance but a lot of volatility, and we're refining it into securities.
Bingo. That's what I was saying yesterday. This is how you know it's arrived. They're building financial instruments off of it now. And when they're doing that, there's all sorts of leverage you can get. So even if you're buying the crypto raw, you can buy some of these financial instruments as well. And you either leverage your money, like you said, with these, they're making almost like treasury bonds where you can get monthly income off of the financial instrument that you're buying off the Bitcoin coin, but you're a Bitcoin holder as well. This is a game changer
That conventional investors can buy depending upon their risk tolerance and their duration interest.
Is there ever too much Bitcoin for you to own? Like if you could own all of it? Would you?
I don't think we'll get all of it. I don't think in the range of 3 to 5 or 3 to 7% is too much. BlackRock has
No,
got more than
I just
us.
wonder. I was thinking about the mental exercise of if you could actually own all of it.
Well, in truth, you see what this guy's doing? This is essentially what Trump's trying to do with the US Treasury. He's trying to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. And you see how this is a private company. Well, they're publicly traded now, but they're generating financial instruments off of it. Trump wants to do the same thing with the Treasury holdings of when he sets up the Bitcoin repository in their, I guess, central bank or Fed, however they're going to do it in the Treasury. And then they'll be able to issue financial instruments off of their Bitcoin holdings as well. So this is a mini version, basically, if you look at this model of what Trump's actually proposing to do with the Treasury.
If you would even, bless you, if you would want it.
Well, we started and we had very little, and Bitcoin was 10,000, and now Bitcoin's more than 100,000, and 97% of the Bitcoin is worth 10 times as much, and somebody else, not us, has it.
Right.
So as a practical matter, what we're doing is we're monetizing and powering up this.
I totally get it. I just mean, if
world.
you owned all of it, would that change the entire behavior
We don't.
of Bitcoin?
Yeah, we wouldn't want to own all of it.
I wouldn't want to.
We want everybody else to have their piece. The nice thing there is there's 160 companies that are capitalizing on Bitcoin in the public market, up from about 60 last year. So the Bitcoin treasury movement's exploding. And companies like MetaPlanet in Japan and Capital B in France and Smarter Web in the UK. And then there's a raft of them in the US, Anthony Pompliano's company, and 21. They're all capitalizing. The big idea is I take digital capital, I issue digital credit, and a digital credit instrument can either be longer duration or it can be higher performance. We're offering 9% dividend yield with Stretch. The average money market's 4.2% dividend yield. No one would ever want to give a 9% perpetual yield in a bond that's backed by real estate or backed by gold or backed by any conventional fiat asset. But we're investing in Bitcoin, and my 20-year forecast for Bitcoin is 30% a year ARR. So it's easy for us.
Sort of a philosophical question about treasuries, actually. And I don't know how much you believe in U.S. dollars these days. But the question is, if you believe that corporations, if you believe one day Warren Buffett, instead of holding
Well,
300,
maybe not Warren Buffett.
What?
Maybe not Warren.
Well, instead of holding $300 billion of treasuries,
called it rat poison.
He would hold.
60 billion.
It's not going to be Warren
He
Buffett.
would hold, that all these companies, instead of holding cash or treasuries, they would all hold their money in Bitcoin. If that were true, what would that do to the U.S. government and its ability to operate?
Well, I think the key to keep in mind is Bitcoin is demonetizing foreign real estate, private equity, public equity, other sorts of store of value assets everywhere in the world. 20th century physical analog assets are becoming 21st century digital assets. These companies like Apple and Microsoft, if they could buy the S&P index, they'd be better off. It's against SEC rules.
Right.
If they could buy each other's securities, if the Mag 7 could buy each other's securities, they would be better off. That's against SEC rules. The only security Apple can buy is Apple stock. And what do? They buy their own security. So in general, if you're trying to create shareholder value, you don't want to park it in a fiat currency. You want.
Yo, you see that? It says his Bitcoin stockpile is valued at $73 billion.
Want to park it in a tangible asset, but gold and real estate don't make sense.
Did you ever see, what we're talking
Bitcoin
about?
does.
All right, bet. Now let's do. What do we got? Let me do one more. Let's do these CNN polling numbers on Trump, and we'll call it a wrap. And this new data guy they've got at CNN, who does all their interactives, he's a pretty straight shooter, and he does the numbers right. And you'll see actually a lot of his polling kind of coincides with Mark over at Rasmussen.
One of 3 Democrats have a pretty negative perspective on their own party in 2025. These are some of the characterizations that left-leaning voters use to describe their party: weak, broken, ineffective, dishonest, corrupt, out of touch. Pretty harsh. And take it from CNN's Harry Enton, who could not help but praise President Trump.
I can't think of a more influential president during this century, and it starts here with tariffs. He said he was going to raise tariffs, and despite the claims otherwise, he is in fact doing that. Trump, at least in my mind, is the most influential president, certainly this century, and probably dating a good back chunk into the...
You do realize this is being said on CNN, right? This is being said on CNN. Trump is the most influential president in the last century. This is being said on CNN.
20th century as well. Executive orders, immigration with net migration, and we're talking about tariffs and the effective tariff rate. Donald Trump is remaking the United States. Love it, like it, or lump it. He has been...
Perfect Square say he about to disappear. That's funny.
Tremendously influential to a historic degree.
And he did not stop there, saying that the Democratic brand is in the gutter.
At this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all 3. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different.
He's exceedingly entertaining. He's really fun to watch, and it's fun to see some of the back and forth too that he gets from some of the anchors over there. What do you make of those numbers that he's laying out there?
Numbers are terrific. I've seen similar numbers. I know he's on the right track. It is interesting going back 4 years, 8 years, even 10 or 12 years.
Instead to go waterboard. Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen this before. This is Fox actually covering it. I was actually surprised that the newsroom or the editorial staff over there allows him to get up there and just do his segment and just actually just really run the numbers, unscripted.
Trump has remade the political map on immigration, very important, on tariffs, protecting American jobs, most underrated issue. We could talk more about that if you want, but a lot of people...
Yo, y'all be getting the joke chain going in the chat. The first one started off with the Rock thing. Quiet Storm says, okay, I take that back. He's about to get sent to the moon with no spacesuit. Yo, that's funny. Perfect Square said they're gonna send them. They're gonna send them to El Salvador.
Off by a star.
Oh man, that's funny.
See tariffs as protecting jobs, immigrants, illegals taking their jobs away. And the last point, which Etten didn't mention, is the whole issue of woke. Woke and DEI and trans, men playing in women's basketball. These were such big issues in their election last year, and they're staying. Trump's remaining on the warpath, and that's one of the reasons he's doing great. Democrats don't know how to respond to it. They just don't know how to respond to it. And now Sydney Sweeney comes along, and that makes it even worse.
That's your favorite topic today.
Keep bringing it up.
Just saying.
Kennedy, your thoughts on this? Because he's been very entertaining when he lays out these numbers, and here we are heading into the midterms, and the Democrats are going to have to work to figure something out.
Yeah, it's like throwing water on a gremlin.
I knew you would get that.
Yes.
So he says, like, this is the most transformative president in this century. And you can just see the people on the CNN panel like, no! Like, it's acid to their ears. They're like, it burns, make it go away. And they can't. That's the problem. Because all they've been running against is Trump is a fascist. Trump is literally Hitler. And it's like, show me some ideas. That's all voters are asking for. And they absolutely can't because they're still enmeshed in this civil war. And every time they think they've broken away from the progressives, along comes someone like Zoran Mamdani and takes the party back to the leftist gutter. And it is the worst place to be. And they will never be able to govern mainstream from there because there are too many voters in this country who've been subjected to socialism and the ills of it from either where they came from or their parents or grandparents. And they know how bad it can be.
Yeah.
Okay. Kennedy knocked it out the park. That's actually spot on. Quiet Storm said they're about to send them to Keisha with no condoms. Yeah, and they're going to send them to Houston. They're going to send them to the worst hood, Mr. Eaton. All right, guys, that is a wrap. We at the 1 hour, 32-minute mark. I will see you guys again tomorrow, man. Thanks for coming hanging out with me in the chat. We'll do the news again tomorrow. I do believe Thursday we got the sit down with Obsidian. If all goes well, stay the whole 2 hours. That'll be me, Saul, and Obsidian. I'll post that on the community tab. Yeah. Quiet Storm, thanks for sending me the stories. We covered I think we covered 2 of yours this evening, as a matter of fact. Hey guys, as always, man, thanks for helping make this show a success. Man, we couldn't have done it without you. I think I came on tonight a little after 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's the slot I'm going to try and sit in. I know I've been coming on later. This is a new show. We're trying to fit it into the schedule. But yeah, right around 11 o'clock Eastern Standard, and that'll roll us over into midnight, past the midnight hour, before we do our regular programming. That being said, man, I want to say thank you for coming out, and as always, good night and good luck.
Ugh, I miss 2025. Remember life before extraterrestrials took over? It was so primitive.
I love everything about you. Because I'm programmed to be your perfect soulmate. To make you happy.
You got his eyes right. But that's not his soul. You didn't prompt his soul. This isn't my dog.
Dave Campbell, I detect your cortisol levels are higher than usual. In the mood for a digital chat to calm you down. I'm prompted to please. What the hell?
One more set on this mountain. Get your headsets on. We are simulating the best workout of your life.
Welcome to your
panel. This country needs stronger border security.
Our border security is the strongest in the world.
What we need is to take care of our children.
I can't get an erection. You think giving them amnesty is fair to the people who are already here?
They're contributing to the economy.
I've tried all the herbs. Amnesty is never the answer.
It's not amnesty. It's recognizing their contributions to our country.
They said to meditate, but I keep falling asleep. We need stronger vetting.
And to enforce the laws already on the books.
I'm terrified of being alone with my wife. It's too much pressure.
Well, nothing's ever going to change if Congress isn't willing to compromise.
Exactly my point.
A wall would solve this.
I wake up with an erection, but never when she's in the bed with me. A wall would solve nothing.
These children have rights.
I spent $3,000 on a sandals vacation thinking that might do it. Know what it was? Me being limp on a lazy river.
Well, that's all.
Sorry.
Hey, where's Stewie? That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.